Have you ever heard of a little girl who cried out diamonds instead of tears? Yes, real diamonds falling from her eyes. Now, before you say it's impossible, sit tight because what you are about to hear will shock you. Grab your chair, grab your popcorn because this is no ordinary story. But first, allow me to introduce myself. I go by the name Umana Story, your number one storyteller. I bring you tales that will surprise you, teach you, and keep you coming back for more. If you love stories that spark your imagination, then you are in the right place. Hit the like button, follow me on TikTok, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for incredible stories every week. Long ago, in the village of Umodim, there lived a woman named Ngozi.
When she carried Adana in her womb, her husband denied her. "You lie, that child is not mine," he spat, abandoning her in a crumbling hut. Ngozi begged neighbors for food, sometimes eating nothing for days. She slept on bare mats, her belly swollen with life, her eyes swollen with tears. The gods looked down. They saw her hunger, her loneliness, her rejection. And when her daughter was born, they decided this child will carry her mother's blessing. Her tears would never be wasted. Her tears would turn into riches. Adana was only 8 when her secret was revealed. She had broken a clay pot that her mother had borrowed from a neighbor. Afraid, she cried quietly in the dark corner. By morning, Ngozi swept the room and froze. Glittering stones were scattered on the floor, shining brighter than stars. She screamed, "Jiniki, diamonds? Where did these come from?" Adana stammered, "Mama, it's from me." From my tears, Nosie's broom fell from her hands. She grabbed her daughter tightly, her own tears wetting the child's hair. "My child, your tears are wealth, but you must hide this gift. If the world finds out, they will not protect you. They will use you." From that day, Adana swallowed her tears in silence. She learned to smile when she wanted to weep. But every night, alone in her room, she sobbed quietly, and the floor beneath her bed glittered like a treasure chest. Years passed. Adana grew into a breathtaking young woman. Men begged for her hand. Some promised cars, others houses, but she refused them all because she knew if they ever found her secret, they would never love her, only her diamonds. Then one rainy night, her fate shifted. Adana slipped on the muddy path, scraping her knees. Pain shot through her, and despite herself, tears poured down. She didn't know someone was watching. A tall man in a dark coat, with sharp eyes like a hawk, had been standing across the street. He rushed forward, pretending to help. But when he saw the tears drip into the puddle and harden into sparkling gems, his heart nearly leapt from his chest. He bent, pretending to dust the mud from her dress, but secretly picked one diamond and slipped it into his pocket. His lips curved into a slow, greedy smile. "What a treasure you are," he whispered under his breath. Adana, too shaken, hurried home in the rain. But the man followed her with steady steps, his coat dripping, his eyes burning with desire, already plotting how to make her his own. That evening, Obiora appeared at Ngozi's hut with baskets of food, clothes, and gifts. "Mama Ngozi," he greeted warmly, forcing a wide smile. Ngozi's tired face lit up in surprise. "Obiora, what is all this?" He dropped the basket on the floor. "Just small thing. For you. For Adana. You've suffered enough." Ngozi's eyes filled with tears. Not diamonds, but the weary tears of a mother who had carried shame alone for years. "You still remember us?" she asked softly. Obiora chuckled. "How could I forget? Ngozi, I was young, foolish. I didn't know better. But now I want to take responsibility. Let me make it up to you." Adana, who was listening from behind the curtain, frowned. Something about his tone didn't feel right. Later that night, Obiora found a way to speak to Adana alone. Adana, he said, his eyes glinting, do you know you're special? Do you know you carry wealth in your tears? Her heart jumped. What do you mean? He smiled slyly. You can hide it from your mother, but not from me. I saw you that night in the rain. Your tears turned into diamonds, didn't they? Adana froze. Obiora stepped closer. Don't worry, I'm not angry. In fact, I want to protect you. Together we can become rich. I'll take care of you, give you the world. No, Adana snapped, her voice trembling. You only want my tears. You don't care about me. Obiora grabbed her wrist firmly. His smile vanished. Young girl, don't be foolish. You think the world will pity you when they find out? Number. They'll hunt you, use you. I am the only one who can protect you. Adana pulled away, shaking. I don't believe you. When Obiora left, Adana told her mother everything. Ngozi sat in silence, staring at the floor. Mama, Adana whispered, what should we do? Ngozi's jaw tightened. I knew this day would come. Men are greedy. They don't see you, they see diamonds. Tears welled in her eyes. Adana, promise me one thing. Never cry in front of Obiora again. Never let him see your tears. Adana nodded slowly. But deep down, she knew Obiora wasn't going to stop. That same night, Adana awoke to the sound of footsteps outside the hut. She peered through the cracks of the wall. It was Obiora. He was speaking to two strange men, his voice low and dangerous. Tomorrow, Obiora whispered, we take her. With her diamonds, we'll be kings. Adana's blood ran cold. The next day, the sun was just setting when Obiora returned. Not alone, but with the two strange men. Adana, he called, his voice syrupy sweet. Come out, I brought you something. Ngozi quickly pulled her daughter back. Stay inside. Don't you dare move. But Obiora barged into the hut without knocking. His face no longer wore a smile. It was cold, hungry. You think you can hide her from me? He snarled. Mama Ngozi, don't be foolish. Do you know how much power those tears hold? Do you know how many palaces will bow if we control it? Ngozi stood tall despite trembling inside. Over my dead body, Obiora. You denied her before she was born. Now you want to use her? You will not succeed. One of the men lunged at Adana, but she screamed so loudly. The whole compound rushed out. Villagers crowded the hut, murmuring. What is going on? Ngozi shouted. He wants to take my daughter. But Obiora lied smoothly. No, I only came to help. These are my business partners. Ngozi is twisting everything. The crowd was confused, but Adana's terrified face told another story. That night, Ngozi whispered to her daughter, we must leave, Adana. Obiora is dangerous. If we stay, he will destroy us. So before dawn, carrying only a wrapper and a calabash of water, they slipped away into the forest. Adana wept silently as they walked barefoot through the thorns. Diamonds fell with every tear, scattering along the path. Unknowingly, they were leaving a trail behind them. Obiora discovered their escape at sunrise. When he saw the sparkling trail on the forest floor, he laughed bitterly. She cannot hide. Her tears will always betray her. With his men, he followed. Meanwhile, deep in the forest, Ngozi and Adana reached a riverbank. Exhausted, Adana collapsed. Mama, I can't go on, she whispered. Ngozi hugged her tightly. My daughter, we must keep moving. The gods will protect us. Just then, an old priest appeared, leaning on his staff. His eyes glowed with wisdom. Adana, he said, your tears are not a curse. They are a blessing from the gods, to comfort your mother, who suffered when your father abandoned you. But beware, greed will always chase light. You must learn to master your gift. or it will destroy you. Adana asked through trembling lips. But how, Baba? The priest handed her a small calabash. Cry into this when danger comes. The diamonds will blind your enemies, but only if your heart is pure. Adana and her mother bowed in gratitude. But danger was already near. By nightfall, Obiora and his men caught up with them at the river bank. Adana, Obiora shouted triumphantly, you cannot run from me. Give yourself to me, and I will spare your mother. Adana clutched the calabash, shaking. No, I will never belong to you. Obiora's men rushed forward. Terrified, Adana wept. The diamonds fell into the calabash, glowing brighter and brighter, until a blinding light shot out, knocking the men to the ground. The villagers, hearing the commotion, arrived with their own torches. When they saw Obiora and his men sprawled on the ground, their greed exposed, the people turned against him. Bayunwana's story. The next morning, the villagers gathered at the square. Obiora was dragged forward in shame. His men tied behind him. The chief raised his staff. Obiora, you denied this girl when she was in the womb. Now you return to destroy her. You have brought shame to yourself and danger to our land. Obiora tried to protest. But her tears, they are wealth. They can make us kings, the chief thundered. A man who chases gold at the expense of a child is not worthy of kingship. He is worthy of exile. The villagers roared in agreement. Obiora was banished from the land forever. That night, Adana sat with her mother under the moonlight. Mama, she whispered, do you think I will ever live a normal life? Ngozi kissed her forehead. My daughter, you are not cursed. You are chosen. The gods gave me you, and they gave you your gift. Together we will use it to help, not to destroy. Adana smiled faintly, though her eyes shimmered with unshed tears. This time, she let one fall into the calabash. But instead of keeping it, she carried the diamond to the chief and said, let this build a well for our people, so no child sleeps thirsty again. The crowd gasped. They saw her not as a curse, not as treasure, but as a blessing. Years later, Adana grew into a woman respected by all. She cried less, but whenever her tears did fall, they built schools, hospitals, and homes. And her name was remembered forever as Adana, the girl whose tears turned into diamonds, but whose heart turned them into hope.
Now, if you know you love the story, don't forget to subscribe at Wana Story. Follow me on my TikTok channels. I drop stories here every day. Don't forget to come back for another interesting story. Bye. Still your number one Wana Story.